Jennifer Lopez reportedly terrified over Ben Affleck's podcast plans with Matt Damon. Jennifer Lopez is no stranger to life under the relentless glare of the spotlight, but even for her, the thought of what might come next reportedly feels like a nightmare she can't wake up from. According to insiders, the global superstar is deeply concerned about her ex-husband Ben Affleck's rumored plans to launch a tell-all podcast alongside his longtime friend and creative partner, Matt Damon. Reports suggest that Affleck, the Oscar-winning star and director of Argo, has been offered a significant amount of money to start a podcast with Damon. For many, the project sounds like a dream. Two Hollywood heavyweights, best friends since childhood, candidly sharing stories about life, fame, family, and everything in between. But for Lopez, insiders claim it's a terrifying prospect. They would own the format, a source revealed, hinting at the creative freedom Ben and Matt could enjoy. It'd be a cheap way to crank up cash flow and create a direct line to their fans like never before. The appeal is clear: authentic, unscripted conversations that bring listeners closer to two of the most enduring figures in Hollywood. Another insider elaborated, "Everybody who knows Matt and Ben knows they have a pretty incredible story to tell. They could easily convert stories about their relationship, career ups and downs, and even their bond with their wives into compelling content." It's this last point in particular that reportedly keeps JLo awake at night. Lopez and Affleck's history is famously complex. They've loved, lost, and tried again. The couple first got engaged in the early 2000s before calling off their wedding just days before the big day. Nearly 2 decades later, they reunited and married, only to separate again after facing widely rumored struggles. Their love story, which once enchanted millions, has also seen some painful chapters. Ones Lopez allegedly dreads could now become podcast fodder. JLo would freak out if Ben went wild on the podcast, a source told RadarOnline.com. They lived together twice, broke up twice, they've seen the best and worst of each other. If Ben is just sitting there shooting the breeze and getting loose with Matt, then JLo knows anything could spill out. The fear isn't just about scandalous revelations. Another insider noted that Affleck has long had a complicated relationship with the press, and there are sides of him that the public simply doesn't understand, sides that also include Lopez. Even now, there are people who believe she was too good for him, or he wasn't good enough, the source pointed out. For Lopez, who has worked tirelessly to maintain her carefully managed public image, the idea that Ben could casually discuss their personal life, even inadvertently, feels like an unimaginable risk. JLo doesn't want to be painted as a control freak who kept tabs on him or the one who pushed him back with her, explained an insider. It would be the ultimate betrayal from her perspective if he shared too much. After all, the public only sees snippets of what truly happened between them, and an off-the-cuff comment could quickly spiral into headlines, speculation, and controversy. Insiders suggest that Ben himself is torn. He has to be considering it but scared of it at the same time as she sweats over how it will play out, one source shared. Affleck knows better than most how a few poorly chosen words can haunt a person's reputation, or reignite old wounds. Lopez, ever the consummate professional, has spent decades building an empire across music, film, fashion, and business. She's fiercely protective of her privacy, especially when it comes to her family and the real reasons behind her most talked-about relationships. To her, the idea of Affleck speaking candidly, even lovingly, about their shared past on a globally accessible platform represents a threat not just to her public image but to her peace of mind. For now, the podcast remains unconfirmed, leaving Lopez and likely millions of curious fans wondering what could happen if Affleck and Damon decide to press record. One thing is clear: if this project does come to life, it won't just be a podcast, it could become the next big Hollywood spectacle, and for Jennifer Lopez, that's a script she'd rather never see written.